Why was Jake Paul behaving so oddly when AJ was beating the delusion out of him? We're going to break down that psychology, so now let's get started.
I think my jaw is broken, by the way, so it's definitely broke.
As many of us predicted, AJ did in fact hospitalize Jake Paul because AJ rearranged his face, breaking his mandible, or more commonly known as the lower jaw, and that was broken into 3 pieces. And it was clear Jake's lower jaw was broken because when he showed the inside of his mouth, his lower molar teeth were caved inward into his mouth. Titanium plates were screwed into Jake's lower jaw, and he apparently lost several teeth in the surgical process.
I'm a little f***ed up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
Although Jake landed a few good shots on AJ,
Jake fires his signature overhand right while dropping his left hand. Although the shot lands clean, Joshua takes it well and goes to counter with his own right. But Jake completely crosses his arms, leaving himself wide open for the counter. So Joshua makes him pay.
landing those punches actually just discouraged Jake even more because he quickly came to the realization his hardest right hand punch he was expecting to knock out AJ with was doing nothing to him.
I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua, you're a wussy. I'm gonna come down your chimney, boy, and whoop that ass.
He doesn't have a chin, and he has no skill, and he's stiff. And I know that those nerves are going to kick in once he sees what I can do to him.
Anthony Joshua, do you think you're going to knock him out?
I see holes in his game where I can land a big shot.
Okay.
100%.
I'm going to knock him out 5th or 6th round.
Therefore, Jake's belief and pre-fight taunts that AJ had a weak chin where he can easily knock out AJ were proven to be just a delusion very quickly.
His chin's gone.
But he's still Anthony Joshua.
Which is stiff and no rhythm, no skill, just power.
And that's when Jake fell back down to reality hard, quickly realizing it's going to be a very painful night for him. Many were wondering why it took AJ until the 6th round to knock out Jake. You know why? Yeah, it was largely because he was mostly running away from AJ rather than standing toe-to-toe with him to fight. It's the difference between fighting a Bengal tiger and running away from a Bengal tiger. Which one will last longer? Yeah, running away just prolongs the inevitable. However, AJ could have done a better job cornering Jake in the ring to end the fight sooner.
But Joshua unable to cut off the ring, now following Paul.
Psychologically, when Jake felt AJ's ring dominance, he quickly realized he was outmatched, and the delusion that he could knock out AJ began to leave his mind, and was replaced by what? Yes, fear and massive doubt, with his amygdala kicking into overdrive, which is our fear center and instructs us to fight, flight, or freeze. Since he quickly realized fighting AJ was not going to work for him, he naturally began incorporating even more flight, running away, and freezing, falling to the ground at any chance he had, just to survive the rounds.
I mean, all it's doing is buying Jake Paul more time. I don't like it at all.
Do you remember what Mike Tyson famously said? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. This is because once real physical danger is actually felt by the person, their higher levels of planning, strategy in their prefrontal cortex are often overridden by the amygdala, defaulting to instinctive survival mechanisms rather than a conscious proven strategy to win the fight.
He's never even got hit yet, like in a real fight. He's never taken a real punch.
I've never been knocked down or knocked out even in sparring.
How are you going to react when that big shot hits you? You think you're going to snap back into it and know what to do? No.
It often takes years of experience and practice to not let their amygdala take over in fear once they feel their life is in real danger. Since winning a boxing match falls way down on the list of priorities, just surviving becomes the most important thing, causing fear, often panic, to take over, doing whatever they can to just survive. Which is why we saw this very odd behavior from Jake.
Devastating right hands, but Paul just leaning in on 25!
And a few more takedowns. Mauro, is that why he's wearing the Hulk Hogan?
Paul on the ropes, and Paul just, and Paul tried, but come on, punches. What is this? And yet he takes the knee again. This is not Joshua. It is happening. There's the right hand. Jake Paul goes down again.
Step back with that right leg.
He's cornered again by Joshua. Down, Paul goes.
Yes, he was constantly crawling, falling, rolling, faking low blows.
He knows his bullshit.
And I don't see a low blow at all there, so I don't know what we're talking about here.
Holding onto AJ's leg as if he were pleading for mercy, and even pulling down AJ as if it were a wrestling match. In fact, he did that so much that the referee warned Jake to stop that nonsense.
Rough tactics gotta stop, okay? The fans didn't pay to see this crap, okay?
Amen! The fans did not pay to see this crap?
Psychologically, Jake likely did that in fear and panic. Doing that allowed him to catch his breath and rest by getting off his feet, going to the ground. To go to his safe space on the ground because Jake is safer on the ground than standing where AJ can strike him. It allowed him to put some of his weight onto AJ to tire AJ out, and sometimes it was because AJ actually knocked him down with a punch, but wanted to sneakily grab AJ on the way down to pull him down too, while also reducing a more devastating fall to the ground.
Put some respect on my name.
My respect.
Some compared all that leg hugging Jake was doing to a child hugging their father's leg in a pleading attachment response.
Look at them legs! Chicken legs!
That behavior reflects a regression to primitive survival responses where the brain abandons the sport's rules and norms, but instead defaults to whatever behaviors can possibly increase the chances of their physical safety. In moments of extreme physical threat, the mind does not care about how something looks, it only cares about what they feel may work. So we're basically watching this saying, desperate times require desperate measures and action.
It's not just physical, I gotta take your soul in the ring. When you're fighting, you can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading, and then you just keep exploiting that. Some people give up, some people get knocked out.
Before the fight, AJ talked about taking Jake's soul and breaking him down psychologically. Do you know what AJ meant by that? Yes, it's to create self-doubt in Jake's mind, breaking that delusion of Jake beating him. In the fight, Jake was surely starting to hear AJ's voice in his head saying what he denied at the time.
When you're fighting, you can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading, and then you just keep exploiting that. Some people give up, some people get knocked out.
As Jake felt his punching power, those doubts AJ seeded in his mind were surely consuming Jake's inner monologue, because what was occurring in the fight validated what AJ had said. There's certainly an element of psychological warfare in boxing, and it's important to believe in yourself. However, there's no amount of belief in oneself that will ever overcome a massive power, size, experience, and skill gap like the one between AJ and Jake. Therefore, what AJ was saying is that there will be a point in the boxing match where Jake finally understands he was delusional and then starts to panic and doubt himself. And at that point, Jake will psychologically start questioning his identity as a great boxer.
Careful by ducking down.
Andre August, he knocked him out quickly. He had one fight in 4 years when he fought Jake Paul. Ryan Bowerland had one fight in 6 years when he fought Jake Paul.
I'm knocking out the best of the best.
Oh, big right.
Chavez Jr. also one fight in 4 years when he fought Jake Paul and wasn't even a fucking cruiserweight before that anyway.
The best of the best.
And then realized that was all just a carefully manufactured delusion by hand-selecting easier opponents all along.
And let's not forget about Mike Tyson, who had one fight in 19 years before fighting Jake Paul.
Beating all of these people.
In other words, Jake can pull matching levers to protect his image and ego while avoiding anyone who actually exposes his true skill level. That's a tough realization to have while fighting one of the most dangerous heavyweights of all time. Jake Paul found out in this fight that he's nowhere near the level of an elite heavyweight fighter as AJ, and his dream of becoming a heavyweight boxing champion is just that. A dream. And likely will always be a dream, because listen to what Jake says after the fight.
Go for the Cruiserweight World title.
Yes, after boxing AJ and realizing he could never beat someone at AJ's level in his lifetime, he now wants to become the Cruiserweight champion, a weight class lower, while for about a year he was saying this.
When you called out Anthony Joshua,
Why did you do that?
to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
This indicates that Jake is like a child who says they want to be an astronaut. Psychologically, this reflects naive grandiosity, driven by limited understanding, where aspiration is mistaken for capability, isolated in his little bubble atop Mount Stupid in the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is where limited experience creates inflated confidence and an inability to accurately assess his own skill level. What Jake says doesn't ever appear to be based on reality with actual sparring success. Only after realizing he could never beat someone like AJ does he suddenly shift his goal lower.
Go for the Cruiserweight World title.
Psychologically, this indicates that many of his goals are driven by fantasy and delusion.
You've spoken about the desire to play football professionally in the NFL. How serious is that?
It's very serious. I'm going to go and play slot receiver. The way I see it is, it's simple as
Even though AJ said this ahead of the fight.
If I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how I am. And this is just the job I do, so let's go.
AJ did not seem to be fighting at 100% of his ability and seemed to show Jake some mercy, because right before his final knockout punch, Jake was cornered, badly beaten, and his head was on a tee. AJ could have landed a flurry of punches on Jake in that corner, or at least a temporal right-hand punch to Jake's cranium that could have easily fractured his skull and may have literally ended Jake Paul.
Oh, there's a left hook.
However, it appears AJ chose to limit the number of punches he threw and also aim a little lower to land that clean right-hand punch on the side of Jake's face, which fractured his lower jaw, still hospitalizing Jake Paul, but not actually killing him.
If Anthony Joshua won, Anthony killed this guy. Rolls-Royce, Fiat.
The variety of emotions we see in the final moments of the fight are fascinating. AJ finally corners Jake, hits him with a quick left-hand jab to the body, which lowers his guard, opening up a clean right-hand shot to the head. You can see AJ smile there when he sees Jake had fallen into his trap and knows that he's about to finish him off.
And then you just keep exploiting that. Some people give up. Some people get knocked out.
Jake's body language and facial expressions when he knows it's all over for him is a little sad as he whimpers in the corner with that scared, nauseous look on his face, realizing this may be his final moment on Earth.
If I get hit with that shot, I'm screwed. I don't believe he's going to hit me with those shots.
You gonna hit him with that?
100%. And land that right hand that he says is my only weapon.
If you look at Jake's eyes and face, he's pleading for mercy to AJ as if he's a child. Please don't do this.
Some people get knocked out.
It's actually quite surreal that the moment many of us were concerned what happened to Jake actually happened in real life.
If Jake Paul is left, up against the ropes with Anthony Joshua, unloading on him, could be the end for him, literally. It could be his last day on Earth.
Jake Paul was helplessly exhausted, badly beaten, and cornered where AJ could have unloaded a flurry of clean punches on Jake. When he takes that clean right shot from AJ, breaking his jaw in 2 places and then falls to the ground.
And his chin served on a platter, and look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo!
Some wondered why Jake had that emotion of excitement. Do you know why? When he was cornered by AJ, Jake's amygdala detected extreme threat, signaled the hypothalamus, activated the sympathetic division of his autonomic nervous system, and triggered a surge of adrenaline and cortisol from the adrenal glands. This is an acute stress response, but more commonly known as an adrenaline dump. In that moment, when he saw he was about to get cleanly punched in the face by AJ, he surely thought that was his last moment on Earth. Falling to the canvas, then blinking and realizing he's still alive, that abrupt shift from perceived death to survival produced this burst of emotions we see here. He smiled, laughed, and even hooted in shock, disbelief, and excitement that he took a clean right-hand punch to the head from AJ and is still alive. Of all the crazy things Jake Paul has done, he probably never experienced an adrenaline rush like this in his entire life. Imagine if you were Jake up against the ropes in this moment, realizing AJ has your head on a tee and believing that's your last moment on Earth. If you ever had a true near-death experience, you know what I'm talking about. Write in the comments below how you felt the moment you realized you survived it. You may have felt shock, disbelief, and even excitement that you're still alive, especially taking that first deep breath of safety after feeling that sudden adrenaline dump, thinking that that may be the end for you. Also at that moment, Jake surely felt his lower jaw floppy and numb, but the real throbbing, aching type pain typically comes later after the fight when his adrenaline subsides. This is because adrenaline suppresses pain signaling in our body and delays the brain's perception of injury as a survival mechanism to get us to safety. In past fights, Jake's chin has never been tested, but it was in this fight, and I must give him credit because to stand up after that massive right-hand shot from AJ, breaking his jaw is actually impressive.
That's probably the shot right there that was the, now we'll call it jawbreaker.
Although he was unable to get fully to his feet before the ref's 10 count expired, it's a good thing he didn't get up in time because can you imagine the further damage AJ would have inflicted on him if he continued in that condition?
In the early rounds by right uppercut, it's amazing.
Do you know why Jake has been known to flick his tongue out in wide-eye excitement after getting punched hard? Right, it's to psychologically reframe pain as excitement, therefore reframing it from feeling negative to positive, which actually works to keep someone fighting. Also, it's to psychologically taunt his opponent, hoping to demoralize them that their punches are not bothering him.
Paul sticks his tongue out like he's not
hurt. If you're wondering if Jake Paul suffered any brain damage, there does not appear to be immediate noticeable brain damage, but the hospital he went to surely performed several neurological tests, including CT and MRI scans to know for sure, but likely has some level of concussion based on the shots he took. Due to Jake receiving several clean punches from AJ,
Bonafide knockout artist. Oh, the right uppercut.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy is quite possible in his future, but we won't know for sure for many years to come.
It's a progressive degenerative brain disease. It is like Alzheimer's. It can start with memory loss, mood swings, and difficulty in concentration, developing into progressive dementia.
The punch alone that shattered Jake's jaw could have caused the concussion. This is because concussions are caused by rapid acceleration and rotational forces of the brain inside the skull. In layman's terms, any force that violently rattles the brain around in the skull can injure the brain. Before this fight, I said there's about a 50% chance of Jake Paul getting seriously injured, and shattering his jaw where it needed to be titanium plated back together and losing many teeth in the surgical process is on the lesser side of a serious injury, but still quite serious. However, it's also possible he may experience CTE years later when symptoms such as memory problems, mood instability, impulsivity, or cognitive decline begin to emerge when his brain's neurons slowly begin to degenerate, largely due to the clean, powerful punches he took in this fight.
There's the right hand. Jake Paul goes down again. Second knockdown.
I would like to say that Jake boxed better than I expected, but unfortunately, I can't say that. It was almost like AJ was fighting a boxing fan, especially during those last 3 rounds. Jake looked like a drunk 65-year-old man trying to fight the pro boxer he came across at his local pub. At some points, he was holding onto the ringside ropes as a crutch, fake nutcrackers to gain extra time to catch his breath, stumbling, flailing, falling, rolling, and grabbing anything he could hold onto to stay on his feet. I've never seen a boxer so clearly outmatched. It was a little shocking. And AJ seemed to be more sparring Jake, where he was not performing anywhere near 100% of his capability. But what do you think?
Go away, it's hard.
And AJ likely didn't want to seriously harm him, despite what he said before to hype up the fight.
If I can kill you, I will kill you.
This fight was promoted as Judgment Day to basically decide if Jake Paul was delusional or not. And of course he was, and AJ literally beat the delusion out of him. Now in the comments, what did you think of the Jake Paul-Anthony Joshua fight? Let everyone know in the comments below. Subscribe for more. And if you want exclusive content and channel perks, hit that join button now below, because your support makes all of this possible. I really think Anthony Joshua saved Jake Paul's life. I think he could have really gone 100%. I think he really could have threw extra punches. I think he could have positioned the punches maybe a little bit more nasty to cause even more damage. So I think Anthony Joshua was quite kind to Jake Paul. Even though Jake ended up in the hospital with a broken jaw, it could have been a lot worse. See you next time.